Hello everyone, it's Tana. Welcome back to the Not2Shabby channel. Today I have my very last video for Not2Shabby for the latest kit, and also it was supposed to be out earlier this month, but I had a little encounter with the hospital, so they were kind enough to let me do my video later. So I have the privilege of sharing my very last video on the very last day of the year with you guys. So I'm using the two stamp sets from the kit. I believe they're Birthday Bear and Sweet Birthday, but I'll put them on the screen for you guys. And I just gave you a quick run through of everything that was in the kit there. And unfortunately, with being sick, I didn't get a chance to use the ephemera and paper pads. But maybe I'll have some time to throw some at the end of the video. We'll have to see. So I really wanted to use they're called glitter. They were labeled as glittered watercolors on Amazon, but they're not. They're metallic, and that's what I wanted, was metallic, and I had noticed in the reviews that they were mislabeled. But I also wanted to try and watercolor with no lines. So while I was trying to figure out how I could do that, I did do this card here with silver embossing powder, stamped it out, and heat set that with some Nuvo fine detail silver embossing powder, excuse me. But then I realized there's a lot of embossing powders out there that turn like translucent on darker cardstock, so you could use anything like that for, you know, a version of no line watercoloring. I used Distress Embossing Glaze because it does the same type of thing on black cardstock, or in this case black watercolor cardstock. And you saw how that turned out with the birthday cupcake. And I did 3 cards, 2 slim lines and 1 A2 sized. But I'm just going to show you how I made this card here. And I used the stencil that came in the kit to add confetti in the background, but I also did it so the confetti, I tried to add dimension without actually having dimension by drawing some of the confetti so it looked like it was coming from behind the images, and some of it so it looked like it was coming over the images. And I think it turned out pretty cute. The one thing I would change on this card is there is a lot of shine, a lot of metallic goodness, especially with the silver embossing powder for the sentiment in the image. So maybe I would tone that down a little bit with, say, 1 color of confetti instead of a whole bunch of different colors, or more pale colors of confetti, or maybe even regular watercolors for the confetti itself. And you'll see what I mean once the card all comes together at the end. So I wanted to zoom in here so you could see it's just simple filling it in. I didn't try to do any shading because this was my first time using these watercolors. And I have to say, I have a smaller set of metallic Paul Rubens watercolors. And for the price point that I paid, it was the same as the smaller pan of Paul Rubens. And these watercolors are really nice. I really was happy with the colors that I got in the set and how they looked on black cardstock versus white cardstock. So, I mean, these images, especially the cupcake image and the cake image, are so pretty and girly. I really wanted to use the metallic watercolors with them. So that's what I did for my very last video. So I'm just going to show you here how I used each color, filled it in very simply. If you see me skipping a space, it's because that's where I drew some confetti in. And there was a brown and also a black in this set. And I mixed them together to get a darker color for the bear. And then I mixed more black in to color in the nose. And then I mixed another set of brown with some of that pearly white that's in that upper left corner of the pan set to make a lighter brown for his muzzle and ears. So you're not going to see me do every single bit of that confetti. I'm just going to show you a couple pieces, and then we're going to move on. I did bring out this little trial size of Yuli watercolors, which you can be found on Etsy, which I also think are very pretty, and those ones are more of a glitter shimmer watercolor. And I believe she also has like color shifting watercolor. And here's how the cupcake card turned out. And I flipped the stencil on that one, so it looked like the confetti was more settling towards the bottom than falling at the beginning, and I like the way that looks as well. Now I chose to use mirrored cardstock for every single frame to bring out the black panel versus the black card base. And I used Midnight Plum for the A2 size card. And then I used Frosted Silver, which I believe is a satin effect mirrored cardstock, for the bear. And then I used this pretty beautiful blue, which for some reason I lost the name, the little label for it. It was the very first mirrored cardstock I ever bought from Tonic. I've had it for 3.5 years now, but I don't remember the name of it. So if anybody knows the name of it, leave it in the comments below. So I chose to do double-sided adhesive for both slimline cards, but I did pop the A2 size card up with foam tape, and I like the way that looks. And I tried to keep it simple, so I added, this one had more space, so I added a bunch of sapphire colored gems to it. And then for the A2 size card, it's got a lot of metallic and shine going on like the other ones, so I just put 3 iridescent bubbles in the center of the flowers that are on top of the cupcake. And I also used Happy Birthday, which I believe is from Pink and Maine, the dye. I cut that out of the same blue mirrored cardstock and added 2 layers of black cardstock behind it to give it dimension. I will say also that I use Let's Celebrate on the cupcake card, and the Celebrate kind of gets lost in all that confetti at the bottom. So maybe I would do that with a color that wasn't being used for confetti as well, so it doesn't get, lost at the bottom there. But all in all, I think they turned out pretty good for using those watercolors for the first time. I also added a black glaze pen to the bear's eyes because those silver eyes just looked freaky by themselves. And that's it for this very last video for me for the Not Too Shabby design team. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out Jamie's shop, and there's a coupon code down below. Some restrictions apply, and I have enjoyed making videos for you guys. We will see you next time on the Not Too Shabby channel. Bye bye for now.